Buonasera a tutte e tutti, ben ritrovati a questa nuova edizione delle Lingue Live che ci terrà compagnia per i prossimi mesi, che è un'iniziativa di Rizzoli Languages e Rizzoli Education per raccontarvi delle cose e darvi degli spunti di metodologia e di lavoro in classe. Vi do il benvenuto e ne sono molto contenta. Il mio nome è Laura Cavaleri, mi occupo appunto dell'area di lingue. Oltre a questo, il mio compito è, al momento di darvi alcune brevi comunicazioni, staremo insieme per circa un'oretta, quindi 45 minuti durerà la presentazione della professoressa Chini e poi lasciamo a voi il tempo di fare domande alle quali daremo risposta dopo che la professoressa Chini avrà terminato il suo racconto. Potrete inserire le vostre domande seguendo più di una modalità. Il primo modo è digitando tuadomanda.it e indicando il codice di questo evento che è 4740, oppure, seconda possibilità, semplicemente linkando l'indirizzo che di tanto in tanto comparirà nella vostra chat, oppure ancora inquadrando il QR code che sarà presente mentre Silvia parla. L'attestato di partecipazione sarà disponibile nei prossimi giorni sul sito della casa editrice alla pagina attestati e per chi volesse accedere allo streaming in differita l'attestato sarà disponibile comunque e solo dopo aver effettuato l'accesso dalla mail di conferma di iscrizione entro le 23:59 di oggi. Il video resterà disponibile sul nostro canale YouTube e le slide, per chi fosse interessato, saranno caricate nella sezione archivio webinar del nostro sito. Finita tutta questa parte burocratica, invece con molto piacere che do il benvenuto a Silvia Chini, che ci ha tenuto compagnia e ci ha dato tanti begli spunti l'anno scolastico passato. Eccola qui.
Buon pomeriggio a tutti.
Ciao Silvia, ben ritrovata.
Ciao,
E
grazie.
allora, oggi Silvia sarà, diciamo, alle prese con un tema, credo, ostico per molti di noi e molti di voi, che ha a che fare con l'educazione civica, quindi Civics, a world of possibilities. Quindi viviamola come un'opportunità. Lascio a Silvia la parola, appunto vi ricordo e magari preciso che oltre alla possibilità di fare domande, potete anche condividere, magari brevemente, poi io farò avere, così condividiamo con tutti gli altri questo spunto a Silvia, non solo domande ma anche spunti o idee che invece vi vengono in mente e che vale sicuramente la pena di condividere. Lascio la parola a Silvia, ci vediamo fra 45 minuti circa. Buon lavoro.
So welcome back. I'm really happy to be here with you this year, and we start with a hot topic, something huge. Well, as we all know, we have been dealing with this it's not new, but with this new subject for more than a year. And we all share this thing that is called Educazione Civica. And citizenship education is good, in my opinion. It embraces a huge number of topics. It develops knowledge, skills, understanding. Our students learn about democracy, history, international organizations, contemporary issues, and so on. But we all know that it can be a burden, or it can be a possibility. So the question is, how can we combine our 3 hours a week, our programs, our ideas, our topics with Educazione Civica? So before starting this journey together, I would like you to share some ideas. And for this reason, I invite you to get your mobile phone and go on www.menti.com, as you can see there in the slide. And if you use the code 25427309, the one you see in the slide, you will have the possibility to share some ideas. So what do you understand by Educazione Civica? What comes to your mind when we say Educazione Civica? Is it a problem? The first thing that comes into your mind. Is it possibility? So here you will have the chance, the opportunity to share some of your answers, some of your ideas. This is also a good website you can use with your students. It can be used yes, in class, but also if you have a class in quarantine. And you only need a computer and your students need a mobile phone. You can create slides like this one, and you can invite your students sharing some ideas, or you can ask them to answer to some questions. You can ask them to work together to share tasks cooperative learning. So I'm waiting for your answers. What you understand by education challenge? That's good, thank you. It's the same for me. At the beginning, it was a huge challenge. As you can see, in the moment you type the answer, everybody is able to see a great burden. Oh, good. Source of anxiety. Oh, wow, good. Language, English, good. Lifestyle, great. Drag. Probably you've noticed that words are written in different colors, different size. So the more you type a word, so in this case, language is the biggest one, the bigger it is on the screen. So we have great opportunity, other people, great, oh, how many great skills, different cultures, becoming active citizens, enriching opportunity, great, thank you. Well, this webinar is meant to be a sort of a round table. So this is the first opportunity you have, but please feel free to share comments and ideas in the form you have, because since it's something new, I think that the more we share, the more we create. So we have becoming active citizens, Educazione Civica, learning lifestyles, good, sharing future, English, rights, renewed, yes, you're right, for sure. Time consuming, you're right, 100% right. Boring, okay. It can be boring. I partially agree with you. Today, you have the possibility to see some ideas that you can use with your students in order to make it, okay, not great fun, but at least something interesting. Future, education, responsibility, commitment. Yes, you're right. Interest, creativity. That's great. That's the word I wanted to read, creativity. If we are creative, we can create, a lot of new activities that combine language, ESL, and Educazione Civica. So you're right. Discussion, sustainability, respect, something boring. Yes, conversation. That's right, conversation. Great opportunities for debates and conversation. Yes, opportunities, skills, active civilization. Good. Sharing, discussion, burden, improvise, that's good. We're all improvising at the very beginning of the year. Peer education, vocabulary expansion. We are going to see some opportunities for vocabulary expansion today. So thank you for sharing. This is the right way to start this webinar. The more we share, as I said before, the more we can create together. This is why this webinar is not so much about theory, but you will find a lot of practice, a lot of ideas that you can use in class. This is meant to give you some new ideas, and this is meant to share ideas. So once again, feel free to share your comments and your ideas. So let's go back to our presentation and let's start this journey. So in this journey, in this webinar, I will show you some useful resources you can use for Educazione Civica, for combining civics and English language. Some of them are super popular. So for example, the TED Ed lessons, or we will see something about podcasts or newspapers. A great opportunity to speak about citizenship as reading newspaper articles. Or this one is a great app you can use, especially for lower levels. Or the book you can see here, Great Inspirations, we are going to speak about it. Or on Hub Scuola, the campus I will show you. If you click on Hub Scuola and you log in, you have the possibility to choose campus. Campus primaria, you can see discipline umanistiche, discipline scientifiche for high school. So if you click on foreign languages or economico-giuridiche, scientifico, whatever, you have some ideas, some hints, some ready-made lessons, some lesson plans, something about civilization, something about Educazione Civica, something about Agenda 2030. So a lot of ideas ready-made there for you. You will read some articles, you will see some ideas, you will see some exercises that you can use in classes. So it's a great possibility, a great source of inspiration. And speaking about sources of inspiration, I would like to start our journey speaking about this book that you should have received. But if you haven't, there's the link always on Hub Scuola, okay, at the very beginning. If you click on, I will show you, if you click on Lit Hub, which is the new literature, and you click on Contenuti per il docente, you will find in Materiali Docenti, you will find the Guida Docente Great Inspirations, which is basically a booklet with a lot of useful resources, starting from Educazione Civica, but going to literature, contemporary literature, extra texts made for liceo scientifico, liceo classico, liceo linguistico, liceo delle scienze umane. We're now concentrating on the section that is called Go Goals. Okay, as you can see from the title, I will show it to you. It's an entire section in which you can find a lot of ideas and ready-made lessons on the goals of the Agenda 2030. Okay, you will see the green pages. Okay, and there's basically a lesson for some of the goals listed in the Agenda 2030. Okay, this is the section for great speeches. And if you go to page 87 of the book, you have the section for Go Goals. It's a great opportunity because you can consider the different goals, okay, using different primary sources. You will find some videos, you will find some newspaper articles, you will find some novels, you will find some podcasts, you will find some speeches. And here it is. And as you can see, the first part is in Italian, just for you and for maybe your colleagues. But as you can see, the lesson plan and the layout is super easy so that you can just use these pages in class. Constitution of the Italian Republic, but also international organizations and the goals, the goals of the Agenda 2030. This is the first one. As an example, no poverty. As you can see, you always have the context. Then you have a picture or a song or a video just to introduce the topic. Then you have voices from literature. This can be a part of a passage taken from a novel, a poem, an article, an essay, a passage of an essay. And this allows you to get deeper inside the goal of the Agenda 2030. In this case, you also have a song, you always have some data, statistics, speaking activities. So it's a huge possibility, a great word of possibilities that you have to speak about civics in your ESL classes. And not only this section, which is green, but also the last section, we're going to see some pages. The last section, which is the one made for liceo scientifico, linguistico, and scienze umane and artistico, you will find some novels that can be useful to speak about educazione civica. So this is a great possibility, a great inspiration for your educazione civica. But let's go back to some practical ideas, and let's start with goal number 13. Goal number 13 is one of the most popular and debated nowadays, thanks to the various movements like Friday for Future. And this goal invites to take urgent action to fight against climate change. We've seen the different conferences all around the world, different meetings all around the world. So for upper levels, if you have upper classes, you can use the ready-made lesson in the Google section in Great Inspiration. As you can see, you have some statistics at the very beginning. This exercise gives you the possibility to speak with your students, to introduce the topic, to ask them what they think about climate change, to ask them what they think about climate action, movements such as Friday for Future. Then you have, in this case, a non-fiction book, a passage taken from We Are the Weather, and then you have a video. And you can work both on reading comprehension, listening comprehension, speaking activities, and conversation, basically. Also, debate activities are great in this, at the end of this lesson. But if you're teaching a quinta, if you're teaching one of the last years, and we all know that we have literature, so we're dealing with literature, You can combine literature and educazione civica, in this case, goal number 13, climate action, with 2 poems, with a lot of different poems and prose texts. But I've chosen 2 poems. One is a poem that we all do in our lessons in Quinta, the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. The other one is a contemporary one, if you want to change a bit. Well, when Coleridge wrote the poem, the word was a different place for sure. But despite that, the poem has a strong message even for our society now. Think about what you generally teach in class. So in the rhyme, the killing of the albatross sets in motion a series of events that change the world of the mariner forever. In the same way, our actions, our industries, our rubbish have changed, have marked the beginning of a new process, probably the greatest extinction of life ever seen. So why not combining the 2 aspects? Yes, of course, the Rime of the Ancient Mariner is not a contemporary poem, but it can be linked. It can be linked to what is going on nowadays in our society. And if you want to link the Rime of the Ancient Mariner to our contemporary society with another poem, the other possibility I give you today, but it's just one among the possibilities you have, is this poem, Silent Sea, by a British poet. She was born in 1975. And as you can see, she quotes at the very beginning the Rime of the Ancient Mariner. So it's a good link even for a possible esame di maturità, where they have to link a lot of different subjects. With this direct reference to Coleridge, to the rhyme, she reflects on the damages caused by oil industries. As you can see, she says at a certain point, she says, it's our fault, our responsibility. We were the first cracking the hull of the earth. And there's a question at the end. So it's something good to debate with your students. So why, she asks, why exploring space? Why trying to reach the moon or other planets when we can't take care of our planet, our Earth? So does it make sense? So it's a great possibility to link literature. So the one of the things that we generally do in Quinta, the Rime of the Ancient Mariner, with our contemporary society, our society nowadays, with citizenship education, so with Educazione Civica. And your students will be engaged. My students are always engaged, and they like debating this topic, speaking about whether it makes sense going and trying to find life on other planets instead of taking care of our planet, our own planet. If you're teaching lower levels, I'm thinking about a prima, seconda, there is the possibility to combine civics and grammar. This is just an example, something I generally do when I need to cover civics in my first year classes and second year. So after revising, for example, this is just an example. For example, first conditionals, zero conditional, first conditional, if clauses in general. You can start from one of the many infographics you find online, okay? And you can ask them to practice if clauses using the topic of climate change or action against climate change. In this case, as you can see, a series of sentences. If we blank space after tap when we brush our teeth, we blank space, sorry, a lot of water. So at the same time, you will have the possibility to speak about climate change and to speak about the actions we can actually do against climate change in an easy way, super easy way, starting from the infographics, and at the same time revising if clauses. If you have lower levels, even lower than this, you can work with one of the many videos you can find online. This is just an example. You will find a lot of links in the official website of the Agenda 2030. This is one of the links I found on that website. So starting from the video, as you can see, it's a super easy video. You can work in vocabulary. You can ask them to complete definitions. You can ask them easy questions. And once again, you will combine grammar, vocabulary, and Educazione Civica, civics. But you will find a lot of videos like this one on the official website of the Agenda 2030. Well, climate change is a huge topic. It's not the only one. Another huge topic, speaking about Agenda 2030, is culture. Well, culture has a crucial role to play in the global goals, as you can see from the slide. Not only there's goal number 11, which is specifically about culture, but culture pervades almost every single goal because culture is who we are. It is what shapes our identity, and placing culture at the heart of Educazione Civica, in my opinion, is the only way to ensure an inclusive, human-centered teaching. It's not like delivering lessons just because we have to, but it's asking our students to be part of what we are teaching. The possibilities we have to approach culture are endless, really. Let's start with lower levels. Speaking about culture, cultural heritage in particular, gives the possibility to include almost every topic, speaking about vocabulary or grammar rule of our normal programs, without changing so much. Here you see some examples. This is something real. I'm showing you something real I do with my classes. So is this possible? It's possible. Yes, for sure, 100%. It's something I always do with my first classes. So after studying present simple and revising present simple, past simple, and some vocabulary, of course, I will focus on the cultural heritage of our city. I live in Milan, so we have the possibility to see some Roman ruins or contemporary art, buildings dating back to different periods in history. So we always concentrate on our city, but in every single city you can do the same. Every single town in Italy you can do the same. Luckily, we live in Italy. And this is basically a list of what you can do to practice present simple and past simple and vocabulary together, combined with Educazione Civica. It's a list from the easiest and less time consuming, I would say, to the most challenging to organize. So you can ask for a guided tour in English of your city. So after revising present tense, past tense, and vocabulary, you can go with the students and have a guided tour in English. Just call a guide who speaks English and have a guided tour. Or you can organize a cultural treasure hunt. In Milan, there are different associations, different organizations. They organize, even in English, cultural treasure hunts. But it's possible even for teachers to organize one. Of course, not in the city center, in a city like Milan, because it's too big, the area is too big. But if you choose, for example, in Milan, the area of Roman ruins, you can organize a cultural treasure hunt based on Roman ruins, Roman heritage in Milan. Or you can create a vlog with your students. I wanted to put the video here, one of the videos I did with my students, but it was not possible. I'm sorry. But I generally ask my students to go and find a monument they find particularly interesting, they find particularly important for Milan, speaking about cultural heritage. And they basically make a video, and using past simple, present simple, and the vocabulary we've studied, they make a video speaking about the building, the monument, the area of the city they've chosen. And in order to create a vlog, okay, they are in the video, they speak, they practice past simple, present simple, and the vocabulary we've studied. At the same time, they generally discover something about our city, something they didn't know. And I generally ask them not to choose the most popular monuments or buildings, not to choose the cathedral, not to choose Teatro La Scala, not to choose the most popular, because I want them to discover something about our city. You can do the same. It's a perfect coexistence of language, grammar, and Educazione Civica. If you're working with lower levels, you can create a virtual tour using this app. This app it's a Finnish app, and it's good even if you have a class in quarantine. This app is good, really good to speak about cultural heritage if you have a class in quarantine. So this is a Finnish app, as I was saying before, and it's based on a simple idea, super easy idea, linking objects, places of the real world with some digital information. You can start from a map, you can start from a picture, you can start from a floor plan, and you can link it together with other media. I will show you some examples. Well, there's a picture created with ThingLink at the very beginning of each chapter of Lead Hub. the book by Rizzoli. But even if you don't have LitHub, you can work with ThinkLink. It's easy. Your students can work with it. It's free. The free version gives you the possibility to create 1,000 pictures. So it's enough for our classes of English, Educazione Civica, and whatever. So basically, if in this case you're speaking about the city of London, you can choose the map of your city. You can choose a monument, as you've seen in the slide before. The idea is easy. You get a map, you get a picture, and you link it with digital information. So your students will find digital information on the thing they're researching, in this case, London, and then you link it. As you can see, you can link to places, to pictures, to this. You can write this, you can type descriptions, you can link it to videos, you can link it to other websites. You can link it to whatever you want. It's basically a virtual guided tour of London in this case. Or you can create a virtual guided tour of the monument you've chosen. And it's a great idea for combining grammar, reading comprehension in this case, if they need to read some websites, and Educazione Civica. For upper levels, once again, I always think about my quinte. If you're teaching literature, if you teach a quinta, you can combine cultural heritage with the Second World War, the Monuments Men. We've all seen the movie, but there's a real story behind the movie. The movie in 2014 with George Clooney and other actors. But the real Monuments Men were a special force, a special group of American and British museum directors, artists, historians, art historians, and others. And they were sent to Europe in a race in race against time to save art. And without their work, thousands of works of art would have been lost forever. So by reading just some passages, you don't even have to buy the books, because the free passages online are enough to prepare a good lesson on the Monuments Men. You can read some passages from the books. You can work with your art history colleague, or if you want to work with your history colleague, and nobody knows that there is a group of Italian Monuments Men. So the leader was the art history teacher Pasquale Rotondi, and he was given the same task basically. And the operation was called Operazione Salvataggio. They did basically the same thing in Italy for Italian works of art. So for Quinte, this is a good way to combine, once again, literature and Educazione Civica. Another huge topic related to Educazione Civica is the European Union and international organizations. So we all know that international institutions, organizations, and the European Union play a fundamental role in our history. And the European Union gives a great hand, helping hand, because as you can see from the slide, if you go on the first of the websites I've linked here, you will find some ready-made lessons in English for different levels on Europe, on the European history, starting from the foundation, starting from 1950, starting from the main goal of the European Union when it was funded, so ending wars basically and secure lasting peace, and about a lot of different topics related to the European history. And if you have upper levels, you can choose one of the links below, so the second or the third, and you have magazines, European magazines. You can work with magazines, because magazines, there are magazines for basically every single field. You can find magazines for tourism, agriculture, industry, economics, politics, everything. And you can work with magazines because you can teach about European Union, revising even reading skills, listening skills. There are some audio files, and even debating techniques, because there are some hints, especially in the 12 lessons about Europe, some hints on how to create a debate on the European Union. Your students will be in charge of representing a single country, and they will all debate on specific topics. It's a great idea for upper levels, not lower levels, unfortunately. If you're teaching IELTS, it happens. I teach IELTS in class in the morning, and you can teach IELTS writing task 1 using the statistics given by Eurostat. As you know, Eurostat is the statistical office of the European Union, so you can use one of the thousands of bar charts, graphs, pie charts, tables, so there's everything basically. And you can start from the information given by the graph. You can speak about the European Union. At the same time, you can teach your students or revise with your students how to write a writing task 1 for IELTS. So introduction, overview, paragraph 1 and 2, comparing and contrasting data. It's a good exercise, even if you're not preparing your students for IELTS. So you will help them reading and understanding graphs and charts. And this is for both lower levels and upper levels. The European Parliament gives you the possibility to bring your students in a virtual tour with augmented reality. You can watch the video online. This is a video taken from YouTube or the official website of the European Parliament, or you can create a virtual reality headset. The instructions are there in the first link. It's an amazing activity. I've tried it once with one of my lower classes. It's simply a design that uses a cardboard and a pair of focal distance lenses, €7 on Amazon, so not that expensive. And they give you the possibility, if you watch this video, the video you're watching with this virtual reality headset, it gives you the possibility to start a virtual tour of the European Parliament. It's another way, I would say, it's great fun, another way to deal with the European Union after reading statistics, after speaking about history, after giving a lot of dates and numbers. You can enjoy this virtual tour and you can speak with your students about the way the European Parliament works. Another easy possibility, I would say, is dealing with Educazione Civica using newspapers in class. If you read newspaper articles, this is for B2, C2 levels, upper levels, I would say. If you read newspaper articles, The Guardian is completely free, so you can read whatever you want. You can deal with current affairs, basically, and current affairs are most of the times related to Educazione Civica. So it's a good idea. Or if you have lower levels, I'm sure you know all the websites that provide news or newspaper articles in an easy language, so simplified levels for levels A2, B1. It's a great idea. It's not time consuming, I would say. You just prepare your lesson, you read the article, and it's easier than other possibilities than I've given. Another possibility, if you don't want to read, or if you want your students practicing listening comprehension, you can use one of the many podcasts you have on Spotify. As you know, Spotify is free, and it's a huge source of ideas. And you can use one. This is just an example, 60-second Civics, and you can use it to speak about current affairs and, once again, Educazione Civica. Here you find the picture of an article I wrote last year about teaching with podcasts. So there you will find different ideas on how to use podcasts, even related to Educazione Civica, in your lessons, how to prepare a lesson using podcasts. There's a list of podcasts in that article, and some of them provide exercises to use in class. So it's even easier to use a podcast. And our students listen to podcasts, so it will be great fun for them. And let's move towards the end of this journey. I've chosen to speak about this other goal number 2, zero hunger. As you know, hunger is the leading cause of death in the world. And this goal number 2, aims at ending hunger by 2030. So as usual, you can start from statistics, data, infographics to speak about this problem in the world. If you want to have a look in the book Great Inspiration, you will find a lesson plan based on the novel The 100-Foot Journey. This novel, probably you've seen the movie or you've read the novel. This novel speaks about an Indian boy, an Indian family who moves, I'm not telling you the story, who moves to France, basically, and there's a cultural clash. Indian food or French food, Indian culture or French culture. And this novel is great to explain the importance, the important role that food plays in our cultures. We're Italian, so we know it. And reading this novel, I usually read it with my second-year students. Reading this novel gives you the possibility to speak about culture, cultural differences, racism, stereotypes, food, zero hunger, the goal, the 2030 goal. It gives you the possibility to speak about a lot of different things. Because the topics involved, the themes and the issues involved in the novel are many. And I will show you now something that we generally do with our second-year students. It's something which is great fun for them and for us as well, to be honest. And it's speaking about food, starting from food, speaking about food in different ways. So if we're dealing with Educazione Civica, there's the possibility to follow this, which is this project, which is called Every Plate Tells a Story. It's an official project. You will find it on the official website of the Agenda 2030. So starting from a dish, they can choose whatever they want. Pasta alla carbonara, where in Italy they can choose risotto alla milanese, whatever they want. And you have all these questions. Your students will concentrate on the ingredients, on the way the ingredients come to the dish and to the dish. So with this, the questions you see here in the slide: who grew or helped produce my food? How far did my food travel to get to me? How much food am I wasting? What was my food packaged in? And so on. You will help your students concentrating on the importance of food, starting from the ingredients and ending with the recipe, okay, traditional recipes. Generally, since our students watch TV, okay, and they all know what their or a dish they want, basically. The video you're watching is a video made by one of my students. So we want them to show the ingredients, to use the words we've studied in class, to use the verbs we've studied in class. They're showing the ingredients, showing the recipe, how they make the recipe. And we want to see them eating. We want to see them tasting what they've cooked. It's great fun because they have fun cooking, especially if they can work in pairs, okay? They learn a lot of new things. And even when you watch videos in class, you laugh a lot. And you sometimes learn new things because when we have students coming from different countries, we ask them to cook something that is typical, traditional of their countries of origin. So we generally learn something new about traditions, food, and we want our students in the video to say something about the history of the dish they're cooking, the history of what they're cooking. So for example, if they're cooking pasta alla carbonara, we want them to explain the history of pasta behind pasta alla carbonara. Panettone, too difficult, it happened once. They tried it, and we wanted them to explain the history behind panettone. If you don't want to work with videos, you can always ask your students to create a food blog. Same structure, but you ask your students to make some pictures of what you're doing, and they create basically a blog entry with what they're doing with the recipe, with some history behind the dish they've chosen, and with some pictures of them cooking. It's less involving, in my opinion, less engaging, in my opinion, but it's good to revise vocabulary, grammar, and also to speak about Educazione Civica. Last but not least, if you have upper levels, you can work on food apps and apps against food wasting. So starting from, if you remember Expo 2015, the theme, the main topic, the title of the expo was Feeding the Planet. So starting from that message, you can ask your students to work with with apps. Some are against food wasting, such as the most popular one, Too Good To Go. Or we have Italian apps, such as Eco dal Frigo, It tells you what you have in the fridge, not to waste food, or apps that tell you how to recycle things. And a great idea, a great activity you can do with them is dividing them into groups, asking them to write a review of the different apps you've chosen. In this way, if you're working for FC, it's a possibility for them to practice reviews, writing some reviews for the writing paper. And if you're working with upper levels, you can ask them to write a review and to use the vocabulary you've studied in class together, and considering the differences and similarities between the different apps they've taken into consideration. They generally enjoy this type of activity because they're into the world of apps. So they know, and in some cases, they know more apps than we do. So it has been a very long journey. Once again, I really invite you, I want you to feel free to share, because the more we share, once again, I know I've repeated it, the more we create. But it's something new. We are all dealing with this subject. So we all need to find new ways to integrate ESL, so grammar, vocabulary, and all the things we know we have to do in class with Educazione Civica. So my message today is, yes, Educazione Civica can be a burden, can be a source of anxiety, as you said at the very beginning in the survey, but we can do it. And we can do it if we work together. This is why sharing is caring. Sharing with your English colleagues, with the other colleagues, as you've seen in the different slides. If we share ideas, we can manage, we can deal with this new way of teaching Educazione Civica, and it will be great fun.
Eccoci qui. Grazie mille Silvia per tutta questa bella rassegna di varie possibilità. Allora, per te ci sono due domande un po' più tecniche, dalle quali forse possiamo partire, che riguardano appunto il ritrovamento di alcuni dei materiali che hai citato, e poi invece più di concetto, rispetto alle quali poi parte il quiz e non te le anticipo. Allora, la prima è una richiesta di rivedere possibilmente di nuovo il tragitto che porta da scuola alla possibilità di leggere, quindi scaricare Great Inspirations. Quindi forse la prima indicazione da dare è che comunque bisogna essere collegati ad Hub Scuola, e poi bisogna farsi abilitare per lo scarico della copia saggio, per chi ancora non l'avesse avuto o ricevuta, di l'ITAB. Da quel momento in poi lascio a te la parola se hai voglia di fare rivedere quali sono i passaggi necessari.
Certo, condivido nuovamente lo schermo così potete vedere. Una volta che voi fate il login, arrivate qui, vedete ciao, il vostro nome, e qui avete di solito i libri per cui siete stati abilitati, l'ITAB, contenuti per il docente, materiali docente, e avete la guida del docente stampabile, la guida del docente di Great Inspirations, che vi porta esattamente a questo PDF, dove trovate tutto. È veramente, magari vi prenderà un po' di tempo guardarlo, però ci sono veramente tantissime idee da poter usare, e non solo nella sezione, come dicevo prima, non solo nella sezione dei goals, quella verde, ma anche nelle altre sezioni, perché come potete vedere tutto torna, quindi se c'è la necessità di partire dalla letteratura perché stiamo insegnando in un triennio, poi possiamo ricollegarci. Anche le schede che ci sono in fondo nella sezione extra, testi extra texts, possono sicuramente dare una mano per questo.
Quindi guarda, grazie Silvia. Allora, quindi ribadiamo appunto per chi invece ancora magari deve fare il passaggio iniziale. Allora, la cosa più facile è rivolgersi ai propri agenti di zona. Per arrivare specificamente a Great Inspirations, che per noi è stata una sorta di seconda guida che abbiamo messo a disposizione di l'ITAB, chiedere agli agenti di poter essere abilitati alla copia saggio di l'ITAB, e da lì si accede a Great Inspirations, che non solo si può consultare, si può poi a quel punto anche scaricare una volta per tutte, quindi farne uso in classe. Seconda domanda, diciamo un po' tecnica. I didn't catch where the topic about monuments men is available. Is it in the book Great Inspirations?
Allora, no, sicuramente è di facile fruizione, nel senso che la Smithsonian, nei suoi vari articoli, voi sapete che il sito della Smithsonian è veramente un mondo magico per gli insegnanti di inglese, ha messo a disposizione un articolo sulla vera storia dei Monuments Men, quindi partire dal film, se volete. Io di solito parto dal film perché è la cosa che i ragazzi conoscono, magari hanno sentito, ma a partire proprio dal film, ed è molto bello perché fa vedere proprio delle scene del film, riporta la vita reale. Quindi dice, va bene, nel film abbiamo visto questo, ma che cosa è successo davvero, che cosa è stato romanzato e che cosa non è stato romanzato, e lì troverete anche i link ai due libri che ho messo anche nella presentazione. Comunque i 2 libri che avete nella presentazione, se andate banalmente su un qualsiasi sito con una prova di lettura gratuita, ecco, ci sono tantissime pagine a disposizione che vanno davvero benissimo per iniziare un lavoro su Monuments Men in classe. Non serve nemmeno, ecco, comprare il libro, perché i reading sample che ci sono online sono perfetti per cominciare quantomeno.
D'accordo, grazie Silvia. Tra l'altro ricordiamo che appunto le slide contengono molti dei link che Silvia ha utilizzato, quindi resteranno disponibili. Noi le caricheremo nella sezione archivi o webinar, quindi forse è il modo poi più pratico per andare a cercare e da lì per partire e ricostruire poi i vari passaggi o percorsi. Allora, le domande serie, quelle che escono dal tecnico, signora Chini. Allora, come si collegano questi argomenti con le altre discipline? Sono previsti cross-curricular links? Forse appunto, ecco, partiamo da un'idea generale che è quella tua rispetto alla interdisciplinarietà o pluridisciplinarietà delle proposte, alcune delle quali appunto sono state quelle che abbiamo visto, quindi come idea tua generale forse direi, e poi appunto in alcuni casi se sono proposti dei cross-curricular links che hai voglia di ricordare magari è utile.
Certo. Allora, sicuramente sì, adesso detta molto perché lo sappiamo tutti, no? C'è il problema del tempo è il problema fondamentale, quindi se riusciamo a mettere assieme tante cose, A, i nostri ragazzi avranno un'esperienza a 360 gradi, B, noi riusciamo a usare, ecco, il tempo in una maniera adeguata, mettiamola così. Quindi sicuramente le possibilità per lavorare con i colleghi sul CLIL soprattutto sono enormi, a partire dai Monuments Men che si può lavorare, io di solito lavoro con la collega di storia dell'arte perché a partire dalle opere che loro hanno salvato poi si fa tutto un lavoro dalla parte di inglese e dalla parte di storia dell'arte, lavorare insieme al collega di storia per questa squadra dei Monuments Men italiani spesso dimenticati. Ma io mi sentirei di dire che qualsiasi cosa può essere trattata a livello disciplinare di quello che abbiamo visto oggi, perché banalmente nelle classi basse si può lavorare con i colleghi di scienze sul climate action, piuttosto che anche con i colleghi, perché no, di geografia o di storia su zero hunger. Alcuni spunti per lavori interdisciplinari ci sono già nei link che trovate nelle slide. Il link, per esempio, quello delle 12 lezioni dell'Unione Europea, lì ci sono tantissime possibilità di lavoro interdisciplinare. Loro suggeriscono tantissime cose, poi ovviamente ognuno sviluppa quello che può sviluppare. Ma anche in Great Inspirations, nell'ultima parte, quella dei testi extra, non focalizzatevi troppo, cioè noi li abbiamo divisi scientifico, classico, scienze umane, artistico, però nulla toglie che insegnando all'artistico si possa andare a prendere un testo di scienze umane. Lì ci sono molti rimandi a lavori interdisciplinari, collegamenti interdisciplinari che si possono fare. C'è anche una sezione di letterature comparate in Great Inspirations, quindi se volete lavorare, c'è per esempio in quella sezione una poesia che si rifà anche al climate action, al goal 13, il primo che abbiamo guardato, poesia vista da letteratura inglese e da letteratura italiana, quindi già questo è un altro passaggio.
Grazie Silvia. Allora, adesso un'altra spinosa questione rispetto all'educazione civica, certe volte appunto percepita come spinosa, anche se ho visto che tra le parole iniziali ci sono parole di speranza, appunto improvise, creativity, anche se time consuming, quindi forse appunto dobbiamo farci ancora un po' la pace, però ci sono buone speranze. Questione ancora spinosa, spunti o questioni di indicatori di valutazione, quindi come la valutiamo questa educazione civica, proposte magari appunto rispetto alle modalità che tu porti avanti con i tuoi colleghi a scuola, insomma, qualche apertura su questo.
Allora, anche lì si apre un ventaglio di possibilità, possiamo andare da un banale, passatemi il termine perché non è banale, tema, ok? Fino a, non lo so, per esempio il lavoro che facciamo su Masterchef, c'è un voto orale sul video. piuttosto che, anche perché nel video noi vogliamo vedere l'utilizzo dei vocaboli che abbiamo studiato, eccetera, eccetera. Quindi è ovvio che il video non sia la verifica di vocaboli che voi potete fare in classe, ma è anche ovvio che senza studiare i vocaboli che si sono fatti in classe, loro non potrebbero fare un video decente, quantomeno, cioè, senza utilizzare tutti i vocaboli, appunto. Si possono fare dei dibattiti, con le classi alte soprattutto, ci è capitato di fare dei dibattiti. La valutazione del dibattito c'è online una guida, e ci saranno anche altre possibilità per vedere come fare un dibattito in classe, cosa fare, come comportarsi, come valutare, quindi potete sicuramente attingere anche da lì. Ci sono anche possibilità più tradizionali. Accantonando il tema di cui abbiamo parlato prima, si possono fare verifiche interdisciplinari. Adesso, settimana prossima, noi ne abbiamo una in programma con le nostre quinte, abbiamo fatto appunto un progetto di storia dell'arte, inglese, educazione civica, e loro avranno una verifica scritta interdisciplinare. Ecco, secondo me dipende molto anche dal momento, dalla classe e dal progetto, perché spesso si può lavorare con cose più innovative, più creative, a volte bisogna riportare il tutto a un livello scritto, anche per aiutare i ragazzi, soprattutto per esempio in quinta, a mettere insieme le cose, e quindi tutto quello che si fa poi va a costruire quello che sarà poi, se rimarrà così, il percorso dell'orale di maturità.
D'accordo. Grazie mille Silvia. Allora, intanto ringraziamo la professoressa Silvia Chini, ringraziamo tutti coloro che sono stati con noi e che speriamo di rivedere durante appunto le prossime occasioni che avremo con le lingue live. Il prossimo appuntamento è per il 3 dicembre e vi aspettiamo qui. Grazie ancora a tutti. Buona serata.
Serata.